It's story time. You have been in church for 2, 3, 4 years, and by now you had hoped that you will be settled, probably with kids and all. But up to now, there's really absolutely nothing. And when you look in the horizon, there's seems like there's no hope of ever settling or getting a partner. So, should you go outside or should you remain in the church? So, today we are exploring that. I'm sharing my story. I'm hoping that with the story, I'll inspire one or two people, and that is the reason why we do this. So, stay tuned, grab popcorns or whatever you want to grab, and just relax as we dive into today. Back to my channel, I am Beha, and thank you for those that have subscribed. And if you're new here, please consider to do so. We want to grow the community. So, like I mentioned, it's a relaxed session, so I just need to relax as well. Yeah, we are talking relationships. Somehow it seems like I've been releasing content that is just for the ladies. Guys, I'll cater for you for now because I'm new. I'm also trying to find my niche in this YouTube business. So, yes, today's matter 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the church, and there's no brother. I have been there. I have been there. I'm sharing my story, and like I mentioned, the reason why I do it is to inspire one or two people out there. And if you're inspired by what I'm going to share, please leave that in the comments down below. Yes. So, yes, so we're starting. So I completed my tertiary education in 2009. And fortunately for me, 2010, I started working. And I started working, and I've always been active in the church. Yes, I'm a church girl, and I'm proud of it. I'm not ashamed of it. Yes. Uh, so I joined one of the big churches in the city that I'm currently staying. Yeah. And with these big churches, sometimes when you are there, more like you are just a droplet in the ocean. Even when you don't come for weeks, no one really notices. But the thing with me is, I'm kind of an active person wherever I am, whether it's a small church or it's a big church. So, 2010, when I moved to the city that I am in, yes, I was active. I fortunately have the gift of chorus study. So I started doing that chorus study to an extent where when I missed when I missed church for some time, I'll get maybe one or two calls inquiring where I was. So yes, be active, be active, be active, be active, sister, be active in church. So yes. And in 20, around about that same year when I started going to this big church, I noticed this guy. I'm hoping my husband is not watching this. So I noticed this guy. He was very active in the church. Oftentimes, when a guy is active in church, ladies would tend to put him as, we see him as a leader, which we gravitate towards. So he was very active in the church and everything, and I took a liking. I took a liking on him, and it dragged I think for 2 years. And what happens is, because I've been there, I can share my experience, and I'm hoping that you can also, if you're in the same situation, you can identify. So what happens is, in those years where I had a crush on this guy, it drains emotionally, such that when you're daydreaming, you build your castle, and you see him as the prince. So to detach yourself outside that crush, it's kind of draining and difficult. But there came a time where I had to put my foot down to say, well, this is not going anywhere because the guy is quiet and I have been praying, but nothing is really happening. So one of the point that I want to put across here is when we're in church, there's faith and there are feelings. Relationships are more driven by feelings, and sometimes there's a fine line between faith and feelings. What normally happens is, ladies, we tend to prolong the crush phase, if I may put it that way, where you're saying that I'm praying, I'm hoping that God will give me this guy. And the more that is prolonged, the more your eyes are closed to other potentials. Hmm? Am I making sense? Yeah. So your eyes are closed to other potentials, and you're just tuned to this particular guy who is not even going to say that he likes you in the first place. So I was there. I was there. Um, so what helped me is I grew that inner strength of saying, of putting my foot down and saying, I'm leaving this, it's not working for me, which I did. Fortunately, I did. That was after maybe 2 years, and that is pretty long. It's pretty long to have a crush for that period. Yeah. So I'm hoping you're still with me and we're just chit chatting. I would love to say, hear your comments and yeah, so that we. Okay, so that is my story. So fast forward 2012, 2013, I finally put my foot down to say, you know what, I cannot go on. I cannot perpetuate this behavior. So you have to find it in yourself because 2, 3 years is just too long for a guy not to tell you that he's interested in you. So I gathered the courage to say, to speak to myself, if I can say it here, to speak to myself to say, I cannot go on this way. So I stopped somehow by the grace of God. I was able to just detach myself out of from the guy. Yes, but that was maybe 2012 or so. So 13, 14. I don't know whether it was 2013 or 2014. That crash, somehow, I don't know what happened, but it was reignited. And this time around, when you have a crush on someone, yeah, sometimes when you just sit it, when you maybe you just look a different direction, you actually find that person staring at you because you're communicating. So that's what happened, that's what will happen with this guy. So I gathered some courage. I gathered some courage because this time around I didn't want to prolong the crush. Uh, I'm like, if I prolong it, it won't work for me. So I just need to stop this. So I gathered some strength. Remember, the question at the end of this video is I want to address the issue whether a lady can approach a guy. It's my opinion. It's my opinion. Everyone is entitled to his or her opinion. Yeah. So yes. So this time around, I gathered some courage and because I still had his number, and I called this guy. You know what? Can we make an appointment? I want to see you. At some point, he dodged my seeing me, but I persisted, and he agreed, and we met. I remember it was a Wednesday. We met, and so I didn't know how to approach it because I wanted him to come out, and tell me whether he's interested or not. But I didn't know. I didn't have the diplomacy of approaching it or addressing it with him. But we met, and I tried. I don't know. Yeah, but I did. I said something, but at the end of the day, the gist of the matter, the guy told me, no, he's just being a brother, and he's not really interested. You know, rejection it's very bad. Rejection, being rejected is I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how the guys survive it. But that was one of the worst days of my life. Because in my mind, I was thinking, okay, we're just going to settle this, and we're going to start our journey together. But no, the guy had different motive altogether. But the good thing is, from that day on, I knew that he was not really interested in me. He was just, like you were saying, he was being a good brother. So yes, that is my story. So when I started here, this clip, I said 1, 2, 3, 4 years in the church. Should you still remain patient? Okay, from my story after that, after this guy, I kind of left the big church, and I opted for a small church because small church, I knew that my service is needed more than in a big church. So I just went into really serving earnestly. And oftentimes people say is that it's into a small church, but I did not really get to meet my husband in a small church. What that did for me was to actually distract me from thinking about that guy. And it really gave me uh, a new sense in serving God. You know what they say about the idle mind, that is the devil's workshop. So in the small church, because we are few, I was forced to really work and serve the Lord. Sometimes what we just need is to relocate. If you have had a crush for 1, 2, 3 years, it's too long. It's too long. Maybe what you need is just to relocate. Because if a guy really earnestly likes you, I doubt that they can take that long before they can fully approach you. So yes, relocate. Don't leave church, but just relocate for to have a different perspective altogether. Yes, and the other thing is, you know, God answers in His way. He answers in His way. Sometimes we want things to be fast, but in His wisdom, He sees what is best for us. So there are things that He delays for a reason, and for our own benefit. Yeah. So I wouldn't say quit church or go outside. I'd rather say maybe relocate, find a different location, relocate, go to a different church, from a big church to a small church. It works. And immerse yourself in really serving. Serve him. Yes, yes. Don't quit. And the other question was, should you approach a guy and tell him that you are interested? This is my opinion. From experience, I wouldn't advise you to do that. Rather, sometimes you can have a maybe someone going, on your behalf, but you approaching a guy. From my experience, I wouldn't want you to go through what I experienced, because it's a sour experience. If you're not strong enough, you can end up leaving the church. And this is just my opinion. And everybody's entitled to his or her own opinion. Yes. So I just want to hear, uh, yeah, I want to hear your side. Where are you? Where are you? with this relationship wise. Have you been in church looking for 2 3 years? Inbox me if you don't want to put it in the public domain. Inbox and let's talk about it, because that's the reason why we do this video, so that my experience can maybe inspire or help someone there. When that happens, I feel more motivated to create content in my channel. So thank you for watching, and hope that you have been inspired, and I would love to see your comments, and remember to subscribe. We want to grow the community. See you in my next video.